So what's going on, guys? CeeGee here today, and welcome back to the channel. You guys have been enjoying my trailer reactions so far this week, so I thought I would keep it going with a Call of Duty World War II multiplayer reveal trailer. Now, I'm not going to be breaking this one down with screenshots because there's quite a lot of stuff that I want to talk about Call of Duty World War II regardless. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into the Call of Duty multiplayer reveal trailer. Alright, let's do it. Oh, wow, cool. Hey, him on grand. What the hell is that? Bayonet charging. That's interesting.
Time to show what you're made of, soldier.
Oh, I like that, the parachute. That's cool. Shotguns. Gotta be shotguns. Jesus Christ. A woman's voice. I did just hear a woman's voice. I like that. Oh, don't tell me that in plane combat. And melee animations, are you kidding me?
We have to push through enemy territory. Let's go! Rally near the tank and protect it. Cover fire!
Tanks as well.
Destroy the 88s.
I like that, man. That's cool. I like that. Yo, Jewel. 1911s. November 3rd.
Pre-order now and get access to the private
beta. And there he is, the old poster boy. So, first reactions on that. I'm actually a little disappointed. I understand that there is gameplay coming out later tonight, which I believe is now yesterday when you guys see this. So this video could be a completely different opinion of mine to what I have, like, obviously tomorrow after I've seen gameplay. But at the moment, it does look like they have taken a lot of inspiration from Battlefield. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm not saying it's a good thing, because obviously Battlefield introduced the bayonet charge. No, like, melee charging has been a thing for a long time. Like when you melee someone, you like run into them. That's been a thing for a long time. It's like Han Solo's shoulder barge on Battlefield. That's on Battlefront. Sorry, that's like a melee charge. But they've never actually had a full bayonet charge in a war game up until Battlefield 1. So I'm kind of thinking, like, have COD looked at the success of the mechanic in that and looked how useful it is and said we need that in our game. Another thing that I'm a little jarred off about, I guess you could say, is the melee animations. If you guys are like wanting to click off the video because I'm slagging COD off, just wait, because there are a lot of good things I want to talk about as well, so don't go just yet. But the melee animation is something that has always been distinctively Battlefield. COD has never had melee animation. It had the melee lunge in like Modern Warfare 2 when you would like lunge into someone and just hit them with your knife. But other than that, it was only really just a knife. You would just swing your knife and you'd get someone. Whereas Battlefield has always had these really in-depth animations where you like grab someone around the neck, stab them in the chest, or if you hit them and then push them off your blade or axe or whatever. So I definitely think they've taken a bit of a gamble with that, because that is very distinctively Battlefield. The colour palette, I'm going to admit, does look absolutely incredible, because obviously with a wartime game you would expect it to be like browns and blacks and sort of like dark colours, but there was a lot of greenery and there was a lot of colour in there for a war game. There was a lot of like nice oranges, there was some greens in the trees, there was some blues in the sky. It was a really nice colour palette for a war game. I will admit that it does look pretty gorgeous, which is also a weird thing because it didn't look like COD. It looked like COD, but it didn't look like COD. And that's what I want to talk about here, because that's what I think is really, really good. I think that Call of Duty doesn't need to look like Call of Duty now. This is going to change Call of Duty for the better, I hope. Because the last 10 years of CODs, we've had the same repetitive gameplay that has been not great in some instances. I mean, the last 3 or 4 years you've had Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare. Some would argue Black Ops 3 is the best game, the best COD game made, but I fucking hate it. So I'm going to say all 3 of them are shit. So for the last 3 years, we haven't had a good Call of Duty game, and I hope that this changes that, because this genuinely has the potential to bring COD back to the #1 spot, and quite frankly knock the likes of Battlefield 1, Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch down off the top spot, because at the moment COD just isn't the good first person shooter that everyone wants. Infinite Warfare isn't successful. Modern Warfare Remastered isn't successful. They're not good games. That's the thing. Even if they were enjoyable to play, they are not well made games. Infinite Warfare is boring. It's not fluent. It feels really weird. I don't like the movement system. And Modern Warfare Remastered is, although it is a classic, it's so outdated now that it is just a bore to play. We need something that has that enjoyment that COD 4 had, but then the graphics and how fluent it is of like Black Ops 3, because Black Ops 3 is a very fluent game. Although I hated it, everything was very fast paced. But then again, I don't really want a fast paced war game. I play Battlefield quite a lot, and Battlefield is quite a fast-paced war game, and sometimes in the games of Conquest it can be a bit too much. You just want to play something like Rush or Frontlines and just slow it down a little bit. That's what I hope World War 2 does here. I hope it just slows the gameplay down, slows everything down a big step, and just looks at its roots and go, you know what, we're not going to make something like Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare. We're going to make something like Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, and Call of Duty 3. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, because without them games, this would never exist. If Call of Duty never was made, obviously we'd never have these games. Eventually it probably would be made by Activision and Treyarch and Infinity Ward and whatnot, and blah blah blah. But I think the reason this game is going to be so hyped up and so successful is because of the last 3 years of failure in the Call of Duty IP, and I think that's a good thing. I think that this is what the series needs, and it'll be really interesting to see what Treyarch do as well, because Treyarch have always either done futuristic or old school, so whether they follow it up with a World War 1 game or a Vietnam game or something like that, that'd be really interesting. And then seeing what Infinity Ward do. I think the next cycle of games will be World War 2, Vietnam, and modern day, because Treyarch did really well with Vietnam, and Infinity Ward know how to make a really good modern day one. So I think that's what the next 2 games will be, which means the next 3 years of COD is going to be phenomenal. Or they could release this game and support it for 2 years, and then they could release the Treyarch game and support that for 2 years, so the games have a longer life cycle. Because it would be a shame for this to be such a classic war game and then be taken away from us after only a year. It would be absolutely tragic, because this is the game that would save Call of Duty, and then after a year everyone forgets about it for another Call of Duty. That would be really annoying, in my opinion. It would be really harsh. It'd be bit brutal on Sledgehammer, because they have essentially revitalized the series, and then they're like, sorry, after a year your game isn't good enough to carry on being supported, so we're going to just follow Treyarch and whatever their game is. But yeah, I have reasonably high hopes for this game. I'm not too sure. I'm excited-ish. I'm excited for the COD to come back to its roots, but I'm not excited for how much like Battlefield is going to be, because if I wanted to play a game like Battlefield, quite frankly, I would play Battlefield, because this isn't going to have the giant scale warfare. It's not going to have the vehicle combat. It's not going to have sort of like the realistic physics like bullet drop and stuff. This is going to be more of an arcadey shooter, whereas Battlefield is more of a simulation, I guess you could say. So yeah, if I wanted to play something like Battlefield, I'd play Battlefield, but hopefully this does change my mind. And as I said, I'm very mixed feelings about this. So I'm really not sure about what to expect from this game. But that has been my initial reaction and talk through. I hope I haven't dragged on for too long. I hope you have all enjoyed, and of course, come back tomorrow for another trailer reaction or breakdown. I don't know what it will be. I'm really hoping that they announce The Last of Us 2 and release a new trailer, or something like The Witcher 4. Just something good, please, Sony. Please, just release something awesome. But until then, guys, I will see you soon. And yeah. Have a good day. Peace.